Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Are you ready for this one? This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be something. So we have a jam-packed one ready. There's a lot of stuff we're going to have to cut just to get right to it. So it's going to be a big one. Today, we are going to unveil our top list of top kickers in tournament history for forms and fighting.
Yes.
Jeff will do the forms, and I will do the fighting. These lists are going to be a top 20. So the top 20 forms kickers of tournament history, and the top 20 fighting kickers in tournament history.
Right.
Jeff is the forms expert. I will take the place of the fighting expert, and whatever we say goes. We will give a brief description as to what went into it and maybe even who it is. But Jeff, did we decide? Are we going 1 to 20 or are we going 20 to 1?
I'm set to go 20 to 1. If you want to do the opposite way, that's fine. But I would say 20 to 1 because
we'll go 20 to 1.
It builds up, and people don't really know. Yeah, I think 20 to 1. So, all right.
But before
let's talk about, how was your week? Because here's the deal. I think, and they talked about it a little bit on CTE, but we need to hear about your crazy weekend, man.
Oh.
You were sending us videos, and I was loving it. And
Did you love it though? Wasn't it something?
I did. I didn't know what to think, man. I really
didn't even expect that.
No, and what's funny to me is that you tell me you do this every year,
correct,
and you still seem surprised. You know what I'm saying?
So let me explain. So for those of you guys listening and are like, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? So one of my best friends, Troy Sexton, and I, and Troy's wife, Katie, and my wife, Lindsay, the four of us, we go to Chicago and we do Christmassy stuff all weekend. Now, Chicago is one of the top Christmas cities in the country to go to.
Right.
And this all came about because Troy, he called me up and he said, hey, our parents are like 90-year-olds trapped in like 50-year-olds' bodies. They do Christmas or they do Thanksgiving and are done by like 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So why don't we go do a weekend? And we decided we were going to go to Chicago, and that's how the thing started.
That's awesome.
So it's changed what we do each time.
Okay.
So what we did this weekend, we've never done before. So everything was
that's
different.
what I was. All right. Got it. Cool.
Right. So when it looked like I was surprised because we've never done this before. So we go to Chicago and it's amazing. So there's such thing as there's like a Chris Kindle market, and which is an amazing Christmas market. And if your town has one, that's amazing. Chicago, the Chicagoland area, I believe has like 4. So even the city itself has 2, which is wild, right? So,
right.
but it's cool.
So yeah.
So it's like a little market, right? You just show up and there's a little market, and then you sell like trinkets, and you sell cuckoo clocks, or you'll sell this, and then it's like a German theme thing, because that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
And it's a Chris Kindle market. So that's what it is. And you just get the pretzels.
Yeah.
And it's great. You go ice skating, you do all sorts of stuff.
And so that's how you started, right?
Kind of. Okay. But really what got going is at one point we go to Wrigleyville. And if you all don't know what Wrigleyville is the general area where Wrigley Field is. It's right around that same area. So Wrigley Field is obviously it's one of the oldest baseball parks in America. It's very historic. That area is like, I never go there, ever, right? Last time I went there, I think it was 2012. Wow. And it is party central. Okay. So, but around this time of year, all the bars change their names. So there's one we went to, changed its name to the Griswolds. And it was an entire Christmas vacation themed bar. And you go to the next one, it's a Christmas story themed place. And you go to the next one and it's elf.
That's so cool.
And it was way cool. But one of my favorites is we go to this one place, and there's a Greek Santa up on top of the rooftop. And this guy was awesome. And he's just up there like, hey, come on over. I'll be here all month. I'm Santa. Come see me. But in January, I got work to do. I got business. And this guy he was awesome. Loving it. Yeah. I don't have a very good Greek accent. So if you're judging my Greek accent, I don't know how to do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we had a great time.
That was so cool, man. I mean, you were sending us some videos, and I was just like, whoa, what?
Yeah. By far the most decorations I've ever seen. And so I'm curious, and when y'all listen to this podcast, I'm curious to hear what everyone else's Christmas traditions are. Everybody's got something different, and I am always open to like listening to something and be like, I should do that. What do you have, Jeff? How about that? What Christmas tradition do you have that I'm like, I've never even heard of that before?
Probably not too many crazy ones.
What's your favorite? How about that?
So I always, and it used to be that way, but I always did midnight service. That was what we always used to do. That was one of ours on Christmas Eve. And as we kind of switched to more of a contemporary service, we had to switch that and go to more of a 7 p.m., which is fine, but that service was 7 p.m. Then our traditional one was later on. And sometimes I'd hit both. It just depends. But as my brother is a worship leader and pastor, so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he does several different ones. So now it's kind of like I'm usually helping run the AV booth in that area and doing like lights or sound or whatever while he's running the service. So that will probably happen. When it used to be the late night one, now it's more of the 7 or 6. So it's a little different, but we still do Christmas Eve, that. Then we all get together and we do one present on Christmas Eve. That's something we've always done, one present, and then do whatever on the next day. And then usually I'm on the plane for Super Grand. So, after that.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So for me, sometimes I've been gone on the 23rd. I've been gone on the 24th. We did Christmas in Sacramento before where all of us left early. It was really weird, man. It was just different. So that's kind of been my tradition for a while, is that I will be working on not only Christmas, but my birthday. Sometimes
that's just what I was going to ask next.
Yeah.
So when and how do you, with your birthday being on Christmas,
right?
When and how do you do that?
So growing up, we would just do, like, my parents would make sure that was still a big deal. I have a huge stocking that actually they actually gave me the, it's big as, it's half of my body height right now, right? Maybe more. So,
okay.
That they sent me home with, the hospital sent me home with. So it was kind of cool. So that was always something that I always had. It has holes in it now and everything, but my mom still wants to bring that to me. And yeah, you know how it is, man. Parents like that. So,
wow.
Yeah. So
all right.
That is a big deal, right? So of course that was a fun brotherly rivalry, that I had a bigger stocking than him. So whatever. Anyways, that is that kind of thing. My parents always had a cake or something that we did, growing up at Christmas, wherever it was, if it was my aunt's or uncle's house or whatever. And then I always got that one present from Santa for my birthday. So that was always cool. So that's different that, as far as that. So Santa gives me a Christmas present and a birthday present. So that was something always cool growing up.
Okay.
And then other than that, I maybe had one actual birthday party that with my friends and stuff growing up just didn't work out during that time of year. So, but I try to do some, two of my best friends, their birthdays are like the very first week of January. So we all 3 or 4 try to do something together around that time, because it's still all kind of, if you are anywhere 2 weeks within Christmas, you're dealing with kind of the same stuff as I am.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My birthday's not then, but my anniversary is.
Yeah.
My anniversary is December 14th.
Wow, dude. You got married that close.
Which at the time, I didn't really think anything of it. So here's a quick, and then we'll get right to our list.
Yes,
So my wife, when I got engaged to my wife, it was the middle of June. She knew exactly where it was she wanted to get married and where she wanted to have our reception. Which I'm like, okay, you do it. That's what you want. That's what we're doing.
Let's do it.
So she looked, and there was 3 days between the middle of June and the end of the year when that were even open and available.
Right.
One of them was when she was in someone else's wedding. The other one was in like 2 months, and it was like on a Friday, so that wasn't happening. And then the other one was December 14th in 2013. So she said, looks like we're getting married then, because I'm not going to wait a year-ish. So I'm like, done, fine with me.
Cool.
Right?
Awesome.
So that's what we did.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. Oh, man.
So
All right.
now let's get into it. This is going to be big. So, Jeff, you're going to go first with your list. Give your criteria. Let us know. Explain how you want to.
Yeah, how I look at it.
What's happening with your list.
Yeah. So I'll explain how I look at it, and I'll also explain like just what it means to me and why it probably is really hard for me compared to some. So I'm looking at a kicker a standing kicker. Let's just go back. Mostly
is most of this just
mostly
standing kickers? So it's
standing
not
kickers, but also not trickers. Now I will put in like traditional type jump kicks and things. I may weigh in on that. If they could do both, that would add to it. But again, like that's not fair to compare someone from the 80s where there wasn't that to someone now who does both. You know what I mean? So, but I will throw that in there and explain, hey, that's why I really appreciate them or respect them. So, and
is that really the kind of the way? Because if you can't really say like, all right, who are the greatest trickers of all time? Because you'd really just be looking at who are the greatest trickers now. Is that kind of what it is? Because they're the greatest trickers of all time.
In some ways, yeah, exactly. So with kicking, it's just different. So this is what I'm going to look at. I'm going to look at power. I'm going to look really heavy at creativity. I'm going to look at longevity because here's one of the things with kickers. If you are a kicker, a lot of them don't last very long because some don't know how to make it very long because it hurts or they're hyperextending or they're not doing the stretching or they think that because they're flexible, they don't have to stretch. And sadly, there is that. So now I will go back and forth on that because there are some that I just think, hey, they're going to be higher. They may not have the longevity. They may have had better, wins or whatnot. Look at the traditional technique. Of course, we can add in balance, flexibility, all that, and then wins. I will still look at if they did something with those kicks. You know what I mean? Because again,
like, did they win or not?
And not just plain out, but it's like, hey, they stood out enough to make other people say, hey, I like that. You know what I mean? And I think that's why the win part was good. Well, consistency and stuff. So the reason why this is very hard for me because everything I'm so passionate about kicking. Like my whole goal with sport karate and still doing it is to keep kicking alive and to make people think. I mean, honestly, like I don't like putting someone above me on this list. I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you that I don't like that.
So Jeff Goss is number 1 on the list.
No,
Spoiler alert.
No, but at the same time, like, whatever. We'll get into that. But what I'm saying is like, you know what I mean? Like, this is passion for me. I want this to be a list that, you know what, there's going to be a lot of people you may have never heard of, or maybe some people have, or maybe you've heard, but you've never seen. And maybe you'll look up on YouTube or you'll ask someone or something, because I think a lot of these people don't get the recognition they deserve. So
before you send Jeff your hate mail, start researching.
That's right. So, couple honorable mentions, and I'm just going to brush through them real fast. Javik Grok, I think he was from Illinois area. Really flexible and had very good creativity with his kicks. Great guy. I think he got on stage 1 year at Diamonds, 97.
I think he won Bluegrass a couple times too.
Yes, maybe as a junior, but
maybe it might have been junior actually. Right. I think that might have been the case.
Mika Rosecrans, I've competed against her several times. One of the best pure kickers I've seen. Very strong, She competed. She's from Sacramento. Rudy trained her for a while. Great NBL competitor. All right, here's one that people probably would not expect.
This
David
is number 18.
No, I'm sorry. I'm
these
doing
are just honorable mentions.
That's why I'm just rushing through it. David Douglas is actually a very underrated standing kicker. People do not know that he was actually a really good standing kicker. So if you look up 1995 David Douglas, you will see him in his form 2 times to the machine gun in a circle kicks and things like that. It's very funny just to see that, but great competitor. Another one, and who kind of went on and off my list as I did this, Bernadette Ambrosia. She is known as an amazing traditional style, like, weapons competitor. This is
her
one that
kicks were on point.
But her kicks with her Konku Dai, man, was just so on point. It was awesome.
And she would win championships before they split traditional and open and creative, and before they split boys and girls.
Yep. And when doing her Konku Dai, and her sidekick was high, it was great. Christine Bannerod. I almost had her on here. I kept kind of going back and forth. She had a real good front kick. She had a good side. There was some, technique stuff that was just not my cup of tea, so I didn't put her on there. But very high, great. Alistair Fransky, good kicker.
Good.
Here, Mark Canizzato was
very good.
One of the only ones that did tricking and kicking. I didn't put him on the list because he never turned his hip over on his side
when he did his side kick.
Right.
And he didn't do a lot of different.
No, he didn't do a lot of different kicks, but he did keep kicking alive as far as for someone who was up at that high level. So I really appreciate that. And another one that was a great kicker that maybe people don't see, but is Jimmy Pham. Jimmy Pham was actually a great side kicker. He used to do something that I love that people just never did. Everyone did the 540 hook aerial. He did a 540 side kick aerial, which is freaking crazy, right? So he would do the 540.
Wait.
Yeah.
What, he did a 540.
He would land on his kicking leg.
Let's say his right foot. So his right foot, jump, kick, land. Left
he would do a
left,
and then he would land on the ground and stick a side kick with that left leg. And then go into an aerial.
You have me out of your mind.
It's freaking awesome, right? And people still don't do something like that today. Like, that to me just puts me as like, he's an underrated kicker. So those are just honorable mentions. And then I just wanted to
But he's not really
them.
underrated because you're the one rating. So wherever he's rated, he is appropriately rated.
Good job. All right. So number 20 is Dan Marshall. So Dan Marshall, if you have not know, great at Gaybeck. He did Gaybeck. He was probably my toughest competitor as far as a kicker I had to go against in Korean forms.
Wow.
Straight up, high side kicks, awesome. He's probably the best on this list that did both forms and fighting, because he could translate those kicking legs into fighting. So I don't know if you know Dan or if you looked him up, but he's really
not
big
jumping
NBL.
to the front of my mind, but now
so he was on Team Boss for a while. He was a great kicker. Watching him and Nate Windsor fight against each other several times was pretty awesome. So number 19. So this person actually jumped from like number 11 on my list to 19, back and forth. So
okay.
And another one people may not know. Her name is Kim Dutrin. She is from Canada. She is a student of John Furnet's. So while John Furnett was winning everything as the male, she was the female that was kicking, right? And she was very young, I think, when she was doing it. And great side kicks, great hook kicks. She had the slow motion holding kicks, just very choreographed, right? So great on that. Look her up. I found out about her through that video Karate Rock, right? The 80s video that was at my library all the time. So if you want to look up Karate Rock, you'll find Kim Dutrin. 18, Anthony Murata. So Anthony Murata, one of the cleanest kickers I've ever seen.
Oh, that's my guy.
Yeah, but the reason why I have him low is just because creativity-wise, I don't think he had his kicks, he stuck with it, and it was great, And so that's where I put him on that part. Like,
here's what's wild about Anthony. Everything you said was absolutely right on. So Anthony and I would train together a few times. When
Yeah.
we would go, and this is some things people don't know about Anthony, we would go and we would train at like a gymnastics center just to see what we could do. At the gymnastics center, Anthony Murata would out-trick me.
Right.
And I'm like, no. I'm way better than you. Way better than you. But no.
He didn't. Yeah.
He just wouldn't do it. Anthony
Right.
was of the mindset like, you will only see perfect.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, and
Wow.
I get that because, yeah, I mean, there's a lot that have been like that, and I love competing against Anthony, great competitor. 17, Stephanie Flowers. So, strong side kick.
Wow.
Awesome, machine gun kicks. Did not turn the hip over.
Body did not move. But
Right.
hip didn't turn. Okay.
Hip didn't turn.
Hip turned at times.
Okay.
At times, but not consistently enough.
No. And
I wouldn't say a blanket statement like she just didn't.
No. All right. I get what you're saying. Great kicker. Love that.
Here's the other thing that's got to make your list so hard too, is between the women and the men kickers, man, there's not, it is so tough.
Right. All right. Number 16, Ben Brown. Ben Brown was a great competitor, and I know some people that say he's the best kicker they've ever seen. And I've trained with Ben. I don't say that. Him and I are really close as far as in everything. But my thing with Ben was that he did one kick, really. He did an awesome side kick, raise it, side kick, raise it, hold. I mean, he held it for a long time, or a round kick.
Yes.
And then he went side kick to finish, right? And that was an awesome thing, but that was the only time he did another standing kick. You didn't see him do multiple kicks. You didn't see him do other type things. Now he could trick, which was awesome. He was one of the only ones that did both, right? But that was his one thing, and it started his form, and he never went back to it again. I guess for me, that was my only thing with that as far as being the best kicker in forms, you know? But amazing competitor. Loved competing with Ben. Number 15, Joe Falenga. Joe Falenga, some people may know him only as a fighter, but Joe Falenga has amazing sidekicks. His whole family has amazing sidekicks. I could probably I should have put the Falenga family, actually. All of them have great sidekicks. They turn their hip over, traditional Tang Soo Do. And actually, Joe, I would probably put him over Dan as far as best forms kicker and fighter, because he could kick some people in the head with his kick. So he was great kicker in that.
Wow. Spoiler alert to everybody. If you don't turn your hip over, Jeff Doss will hate you.
I didn't say hate anybody. When did I say that? All right. Number 14, Kim Do. So, Kim Do, growing up,
he's got to be the best kicker and tricker on the list then.
Right. Okay.
Kim's a better tricker than everybody. Than the rest of the guys you've mentioned.
I'm moving up. All right. Anyways, Kim Do, a lot of people probably think now in our area as a tricker, but in the junior division from 90, I mean, he was doing John Furnette's music, you know, but adding flips in there and doing, I mean, amazing, you know, let's see, machine gun in a circle, right? And then sticking the side kick and holding it after and doing real cool, like, round off jump, fall away back kick to the ground, which was cool. And he had great technique. And honestly, that form is really long. So for him to be able to do that, pretty cool. And he could still do it when he was older too. So
how about the movie he was in? Remember the movie?
Oh, what, sidekicks? Are you talking about? Yeah.
He was in the movie, and it was basically about the end part of the movie. It was about a karate tournament. And he did a form.
In Texas.
He just did his form.
Yeah. That was actually filmed at like an NBL tournament at that time. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. They had the tournament, then they just had a separate type thing. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Okay.
So I was 14. All right, number 13, Michael Dietrich. I think might be our first diamond ring winner that's on the list. I think it was 88 he won. He won the Korean division back then.
I think that was it.
Oh, yes. No, she actually won too. Sorry. Stephanie, yes. Sorry. Stephanie, yeah. Sorry about that. All right. Anyways, Michael Dietrich. And dude, you know me right now. In my head, I'm thinking about people that I did not add on here, and I'm thinking, oh crap. You know me, like, man, I have so much
Stick to
in my
your
brain.
guns, Jeff.
No, I know, but then I'm like, oh, I forgot about this person. No, it's okay. I'm not adding anyone there. It's on the sheet, okay? So,
Yeah.
Michael Dietrich, amazing kicker. One of the best scissor kicks I've ever seen. Go on YouTube. There's a few things of him competing. I think it was like 85, 84, something like that, DC. Also, some really cool videos of his younger brother. And, dude, those guys could kick, man. And so Michael Dietrich, he's from DC. Great competitor. Now runs Adventure Edge. So Ashley Lane is number 12.
Ooh, that's a good one.
One of my great competitors competing against growing up. I guess when we were growing up, a lot of people kicked, but her and I were the kickers in the division. So it was kind of like, and this is when we had to compete against each other. So we were just going at it all the time. She would win weapons, I would win forms, or I'd beat up there. Really, most of the time, Jennifer Santiago would beat both of us. But when we would get a good, a good event, then we would win.
And her doing kicking while holding the bow too.
Right. Yeah. And that was cool.
Hard to do.
Yes. And it was really cool because it was just different at the time. Probably to me, she has the best machine gun kicks in her circle, I think, of any I've seen. Really cool. Great person as well. All right, number 11. He moved up a little. I can't believe. All right. Oh man. So this may be low to a lot of people. Mike Chat is number 11. So I put him number 11. He is known as a great kicker, and
he is a great kicker. He's a great kicker.
No, he's a great kicker. So for me, compared to some of the others,
stick to your guns.
Right. The technique, no, I'm just explaining why,
Yeah.
Mike Chat is one of the best forms competitors of all time. That's just the way it is. He had a great sidekick. He had a great, multiple kick combos. Sometimes he had floppy feet on the hook rounds, which some of us do. He was one of the first I saw do a twist side, which was cool. And I just loved his stuff. He, I think power wise, it probably still could have been a little better. When I look at some of the others I have above this, that's kind of where I look at, and on creativity with his kicks. His choreography, I still think, especially of anyone that's on this list besides maybe John Burnett, he's probably one of the best choreographed competitors.
Yeah.
In forms. So
he probably had and I don't know the rest of the list.
Right.
But he probably had the biggest impact on forms of anyone on that list. And I don't know the rest of the list. He just had such a huge impact.
See, to you, maybe. See, I don't look at it that way. So it's different for me. I look at John and I look at Carmichael as having a huge impact. I look at those guys.
Let me say it this way.
Yeah.
Huge impact as far as standing kicking. The way he did it, it a bit differently.
Yeah, in some ways. And we can get into that more. And I guess when you hear my list of the other people, then you'll realize the way I look at it.
All right.
Like, this was really huge.
We're in the top 10.
Top 10. And this guy, again, went from actually being honorable mention to top 10 because I went back and researched and watched his form. And I was just like, you know what? People need to know the name of Matt Bowles. So Matt Bowles was a great kicker.
Okay.
He was another one that actually, he comes from the same school as Mike Chat. He comes from that same style, but he was better and he could do it in several different ways, not just open forms, in traditional. Like he knew how to change his sidekick for Japanese and he knew how to change it for Korean. And he knew how to do his kicks, his round kick, and he would hold it for a long time. And it was really cool to see. He also had great jump kicks. His split kick was awesome. Very flexible. So Matt Bowles to me, top 10.
This is going to start to get dicey.
It is, and you're going to hate me on this one. So Number 9, Jenny Johnson Blanchard. I'm going to put her at 9.
Travesty.
Yeah.
Travesty.
So, watch some of the videos of her, remembering some of the stuff for her. No, there isn't. For me, it was just not as polished. Her kicking is clean. I think there's some power that could be, and I guess for creativity. Now, I did watch a cool team form she did with a couple girls, and she had some cool little creative stuff in there, which I really liked.
That was like almost after she was retired.
Right. But and that's really cool. I always so when I kind of stopped doing a little bit of like NASCA and for a few years, I think that was when she started competing a little bit more. So I may not be as familiar with her as much, but I like it. She had great technique, really good sidekick, and I think for me overall, when I look at it, I look at sidekick because I think it's difficult, but great competitor. And we've talked about it a bunch on the show.
Her time that she was competing the most was probably 98 to like 2005 is when she was competing the most.
Right,
when she was having the most impact, I would say was probably from 2000 to like 2003. Right?
Okay. All right. So, all right. And see, I don't remember her then. So it's kind of weird, but
maybe 2004.
I would say 2003, 2004, maybe something like that. Yeah. I remember her, big time as far as seeing her some great kicks. Where am I at? 9? See, I was supposed to be marking these down so I didn't get lost. Number 8, John Fournette. So John Fournette, one of the best musical forms of all time. Did not turn his hip over in a side kick, but he had awesome round kicks. He had amazing hook kicks. He did some cool creative things with going with the music and doing the slow motion kick. And then it was strong too. Like it was boom, boom. Like when you hear that song, no matter how many people have done it.
But John, he would step up into his kick sometimes.
Right.
He didn't always have the position where he would stand there and kick.
And just do it.
He would step up into the kick.
Right. So some of that though, again, it has to come from time though, right? So everyone back then, there was no skip or pull side kick back then.
Okay, but look
at
that.
You stepped up and did your side kick.
That doesn't make that better than someone who doesn't.
No, but you still have to look at the time frame of him. Doesn't mean he
you're
wasn't
the judge.
Great. No, I know. I'm just saying. Sorry. How many of these people on this list probably were inspired by John Fournette? A lot. So
Correct.
You have to put that. So that
so
goes
then
on
what
there
we
too.
do
and
is
longevity.
We take the architect, right? We take the design and
we
build off of that and create something better.
Right. And that happened. But you still give that person the credit for doing. There was no architect before that to make something better. He made it better. So there you go.
No.
So
he was the architect, and then someone else made it better.
No, there were some other people that kicked before him. I mean, come on.
Correct. But there was many after.
Right. I mean, there's a bunch, but John was a beast, and still has influence, on people in Canada today. Honestly, I would say someone like Corinne Belanger, her style is very similar to like a John Fournette, like a creative style, different, kind of that. All right, number 7 is really growing up probably my favorite kicker, and I cannot find anything of him on YouTube.
But you know him, and you're the man. So what is it?
He was on all the Karate Helps Kick Diabetes videos. So if we can get them to be uploaded on YouTube, that would be great. Mike Reed.
Tell me, I'm dying here.
His name is Mike Reed. So Michael Reed used to do the ending of the show for Karate Helps Kick Diabetes. He was on Jeff Smith's team. He was on Smash team. He was on all those teams in the late 80s to early 90s. He was on DKT Force One. Great forms competitor. When Carmichael talks to me about my kicks, he says, yeah, you're better than Mike Reed. So there you go. I'm like, and so for him and I are like the top tier, right? So when he says, no, Michael Reed was one of the best when I was growing up, I feel like you're better. So that's, when I hear people from that era say Michael Reed, pretty cool, right? From Maryland or Virginia, I think it's Virginia. He used to do the last form. So the last form was to Les Miserables, Take Him Home, right? And it's a slow song, and you do slow motion kicks. It's a 3-minute song, maybe more than that, maybe 4. I've done it before. And you just do kicks the whole time. Slow motion, hold inside. I mean, it's really
That's like
difficult.
the hardest thing.
Yeah, and so he did that 3 or 4 years in a row and did it amazing. So very creative too, did a weird like spin side kick instead of spin back kick and stuck it, stuff like that. Number 6 will be our guest next week, John Chung. So
nice.
John Chung, amazing sidekick. He is the guy that started in a lot of people's ways, people's mind. He created musical forms, or he was the first to do musical forms at tournaments, right? I don't know how true that is or not. Jun Rhee, I would say, probably created it, but I don't know because that was within the system.
Tell me if I'm wrong. So I think there was like 3 main influencers on that. There was like Jun Rhee, John Chung, and I think it was Ernie Reyes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many on that, but what I'm saying is like in the Jun Rhee system, there are musical forms in that system.
Correct.
So there you go. But
and John Chung is from the Jun Rhee system, correct?
Yes. And he's one of their lead instructors and everything. I mean, it just speaks for himself, just the legacy that he has in sport karate. Won the diamonds so many times, won WACO World Championships several times. He won WACO in fighting as well. He has just an amazing competitor. One of the best sidekicks. I think a lot of people probably have learned Gabe Beck from him, from watching the videos from Panther Productions.
Yeah.
Or his version.
I learned other Korean forms just from watching him, like Kwanghae and Pu'un, and a lot of them.
I mean, he's just amazing competitor, amazing martial artist overall. So that's number 6. All right, we're in the top 5.
This is getting exciting.
All right, so number 5 is growing up and probably in sport, in creative forms. This was my toughest competitor that was also a kicker, Steve Horse. So Stephen Horse is number 5. One of the most flexible people I've ever seen. Had similar though to a Matt Bowles and Mike Chet, similar style. So that was kind of where I've kind of put that. His flexibility was better. As he got older, like right now, his kicks are way stronger than they were when he was competing.
He's still kicking like that right now.
So, but he's in way better shape. The thing that made Steve.
Oh my gosh.
The thing that made Steve. It's insane, yeah. So the thing that made Steve different was not only did he have flexibility like in his legs, he had it in his back too. So he could do crazy things like, because he was a really good breakdancer, right?
Yeah.
And if he would have put more of that into his form, man, he would have really taken to the next level. He did some things that were very creative. And so I really like that. There was a couple, 98 was when he started to win, and he beat Butch Marks some. It was him, Butch Marks, and I, and we were kind of, and I was actually going into back and forth into the traditional division at that time. You could only do one. So I would kind of, one term would do traditional, one term would do creative, kind of go back and forth. But him and Butch were competing real hard. And, man, I mean, just a great leg, a great, kicker. I think for me, his power at the time was what was lacking. But
at that time, probably.
Yeah. And then also longevity, you know what I mean? So
he didn't have a super long career.
No, but he was great. He was great. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
And he pushed me. Yeah. He pushed me big time, and we would kind of critique each other, even though we were each other's hardest competitor. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Steve grew up like East Side St. Paul, so I got a chance to know Steve as well. And he was just a cool dude. He was like you mentioned. He was a b-boy. He was a breakdancer. So in like the mid to late 90s, breakdancing in Minneapolis really started to go through like a surge, and like guys like him, Travis Johnson, Daylight, actually BJ Carnahan.
Yeah. BJ
were mega in like breakdancing in Minneapolis.
It's cool, man. So cool. All right, number 4. You won't agree with this one, but I have to give her her due because she, besides maybe myself, there are probably only just her and I that are known as representing kicking. You know what I mean? And that would be Chloe Bruce. She represents kicking. Her thing is kicking. She has the record, the Guinness Book World Record in having the most machine gun kicks without putting her foot down on a pad and all that, right? She has
How
a
do you
powerful
have
leg.
her above like Stephanie Flowers? I don't understand that.
Because
Stephanie's better. Stephanie's got better technique.
Who is more creative? Chloe was more creative. She actually had probably a longer career, actually, in certain ways. And I've.
But how long was she really good? Was she ever really good?
Time. Yes, she was. You may not like. Here's the deal. I already said this last week. I don't. Her sidekick, no, not good. But I'm sorry, that scorpion kick. I've seen her break boards with that. I've seen her do crazy things with that thing. That's a creative way to be, and it's strong. She also found new ways to evolve her form with kicking, and that's something you have to appreciate. And sorry, but her round kicks and machine gun kicks are really strong and really, really good. So, and her stances are better than what you were talking about last year too. Now they used to not be, or last week, but they have gotten better. And if people don't know, she was the stunt double in the Star Wars movies.
Here's what I'll tell you about that.
Yeah.
She has done a great job. Competing in tournament karate was never going to be her biggest thing. She had too big of a thing to do.
Yeah, right.
And she's got a good niche.
Yeah.
Which
actually, you know what? Her machine gun kicks are pretty good. I don't like that she didn't stick the last one. That's always my thing. That's why I don't put her. Now, some people would tell you that she's the best thing they've ever seen in your life. I do not agree, but I really like her. So I have to give her that. So number 3 would be Gemma Nguyen. So Gemma is an amazing kicker. Her multiple kicks are outstanding. Comes from originally Charlie Lee School.
While doing the nunchucks at the same time.
While doing the nunchucks, yes. Round kicks, I think, are her best. Side kicks, okay, but her machine gun kicks are just super fast and just really awesome. And what's funny is that they are still as good now. And she is in the same thing too, doing a lot of different stuff in LA and Hollywood. And man, she's just really awesome with that. So I think Gemma's amazing. So.
What number was that?
3.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. The last 2.
All right. So, all right. This next guy.
Do it.
All right. I sorry, but I have to put myself on the list for number 2.
Of course you do.
Sorry. But as far as longevity and as far as creativity and someone that represents kicks, I don't think anyone does like me. So, and I'm sorry, that's just me. Like, that's just my goal in sport karate, being known as the best kicker of all time. And that's just it. So.
No, but I don't know of anybody who's done it as long as you have and has still maintained it like that.
Yeah.
I don't think there is anybody.
Right. Well, and also too, for me, it was also like I was successful in several different ways, traditional kicking and, creative kicking. So I think that's and I beat trickers with my kicks. So that's hard to do.
And it wasn't just one type of kick, because a lot of people have just one type of kick, or they can do 2 types of kicks. You did them all. Or how about the front kick?
Yeah. What, the one where I used to hold
I hate doing front kicks.
Yeah.
It's hard, man.
So the best front kicker, all right. So Kim Do used to do a front kick and hold it. There was also a kid named Randy Dugas that used to do a front kick and hold it for 10 seconds, like above his head. Crazy.
Wow.
I was good at that.
I thought on your honorable mentions, I thought you would have like Elsa Cordero.
So
as an honorable mention, I thought because of the front kick, I actually thought about that.
You're right. That's true.
I mean, I'm not saying she needs to be up on the list, high on the list. I just thought maybe honorable mention. Like I thought Elsa Cordero would have been there for
honestly, if I did a women's forums, I would have to put her on the list because of her. I mean, it's just it's hard to look back at some of those sometimes and forget. So yeah, I mean, just what people don't know, I put my so when people were like, oh, trickers are the ones that put their body on the line, do this, that. I did a lot of things like that to really push kicking. Like, who would have ever thought to do multiple kicks while you're on your knee? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then do them in a circle. Do machine gun kicks on your knee. You wonder why I have patella tendonitis right now.
That's really that, and that really stinks on your knees. It hurts.
Yeah. And then just to push that, and I don't want to just make this episode about me, but I take this very serious and passionate. And so that's why I don't even like that, I put someone above me, but I also like to strive for stuff. So it's cool.
I think I know who this is.
Number 1, Kingston Ing. So
yes.
So number 1, Kingston Ing. Here's the weird thing about that. So you will watch his videos right now, and you will think that's an adult competitor.
But he never actually. He was like 14.
He never actually competed as an adult. So that's in a little bit that makes me where I don't want to put him number 1. But this dude had amazing kicks. His length, his side kicks were awesome. His multiple kicks were awesome. He also had one of the best jump scissor kicks I've seen and triple kicks. His running jump side kick was great. And he was successful. He was the only person that would consistently beat Jimmy Pham from 94 till 96. And he almost won the Triple Crown twice. He lost to Jimmy at the Diamonds. He was the person that beat Carmichael Simon doing the Crow. He was the competitor that did that. He beat him in 95.
That's a trivia question right there.
Yeah. And
in 94.
Another person, I'm saying 94 and then 95, he almost won the Triple Crown again, so technically in some ways you could call it the Kingston Crown, how they do, and, because he won it in 94 today. But, great competitor, great person. That's the only thing that holds me back on him is the longevity part, but he was successful. And just looking back, you look at his form, his kicks, you're like, man, that was awesome.
Okay, so here's a question. You had him number 1, and you had you number 2. What is he better than you at? What? If you can't name something.
He jumps higher than me in his jump scissor kick and his jump
a lot of
kick.
people that jump higher than you.
Well, all right, here's the deal with me though. All right.
And myself included.
He did the same form for 3 years. He didn't bobble as much as I do sometimes because I make up my forms on the spot. So that's probably why. Like for me, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I'm going to see how long I can do a kick combo and just.
You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like to me like you think you might be better than him. But if you put yourself number 1, someone might assassinate you.
It's already going to happen anyway. It doesn't matter. That's okay though. I don't care. Listen, if I don't think of myself as number 1, then why am I still doing it? That's just the way I think. So in my brain, yeah, I'm number 1. But as far as this list, I want someone to kick off. So here we go.
Okay, so this is something I'm going to ask you that doesn't have anything to do with your list. But who are some kickers now that could potentially, in years to come, find themselves on the list? Because of everybody you've mentioned, their cement is dry.
Pretty much. I mean, all right, so for Korean forms, Edgar Cordova still, he could be on this list in some ways. He still competes. He's the same. He's older than me, so he's still not young, like new ones.
Yeah.
And, someone I mentioned weeks ago was Karina Hippolito. She could. There are some that I am forgetting. All right, there's this kid, and I don't know his name. He's from Jewelry School in D.C., and dude, he has some of the best kicks I've ever seen. And what's bad is I don't know his name. So he is from Shackelford School. If maybe Mike Tull or someone would shout out his name sometime. Great competitor, great kicker. He could be there if he got more creative. The problem is sometimes they come from those schools and their whole thing is, oh, well, I don't do tricks, so I'm not going to win. And then they try to do that. Or they go, well, we have the best side kick ever, but, I don't do tricks. Like, yeah, but you don't have to do tricks. Like, you could still be creative with your kicks. And that was just my whole thing. That's just the reason why I felt like I've kept up with this for as long as I, because I've always tried to find different ways to do it. So, whatever. Like holding a twist kick. Who else holds a twist kick besides Chloe can, actually? All right. I know. My
All right.
took a long
time. That was pretty good. No, I like it. Okay.
All right.
I don't agree with everything you said.
No, of course we would. Of course not. And that's fine.
But that's all right.
And we can get on that in the comments. You can like roast me on Facebook. I'm fine with that.
Okay. This is the top 20 kickers in tournament history, fighting edition. There are a few things that I need to explain about this. One of them is that there is going to be someone that is left off this list intentionally. And it's going to seem unfair.
Yeah.
But it's almost that way. Did you ever play? Of course you didn't, because you don't like basketball. All right. But
wait,
have you ever played a basketball video game in the 90s?
What, NBA Jam?
Yeah. Okay, say that one.
Oh, all right. I just thought you were
saying a particular game. Let's just say that. Let's say NBA Jam, because that was an awesome game.
That was like my game. Yeah.
All right. There's one player who was never on the game. Who was it?
Michael Jordan.
Right. And part of it is that with the technology and the AI that they had in that time, he would be unstoppable. It would be not fair. Right. It was just really what they didn't know. They didn't know
but that wasn't the reason why.
Of course, it wasn't the only reason why.
He didn't sign over the contract. Yeah.
Right. But that's also like when you would play Madden football, like in the early 2000s. All you had, if you were the Vikings, all you had to do was just throw the ball deep, and Randy Moss would run underneath it.
Right.
It was not fair. Right. Because their AI wasn't up to date with that. It just wasn't fair.
Okay.
Raymond Daniels is not on this list. Raymond Daniels is not, and I had to look at this as a predominantly, entirely a lead leg kicking. So when you're listening to this, if you're like, man, this person had the best spin kicks.
Yeah.
They're not on the list. Sorry.
Okay.
That's not what this is about. You could make a list for, all right, who had the best this? And if Ray threw that when he was fighting, odds are he was going to be on that list or high or number one. He's not on this list. Okay. But here are some honorable mentions. And even when I say the honorable mentions, some people are going to be angry with me, but I don't really give a name. Okay. Honorable mentions. Joey Greenhaw. This dude's sidekick would he would triple people. Joey Greenhaw, when I would fight Joey Greenhaw, I would leave with bloody shins because he would just kick through my kick.
Okay.
Nathan Thorne has a really high chamber. It's does not have a lot of power. It's hard to outkick Nate, just because he doesn't stop kicking, and he's always got really good technique. Brent Beatty. Jerry Prince.
Prince. Oh, see, honestly, he could have been on my kicking list for forms because he was pretty awesome too at that.
Jerry Prince, I had to do some research on. And Mike Conroy checked me on this.
Yeah.
And he was like, Jerry Prince should be number one on the list. And I said, Mike, you're
crazy.
He's not going to be number one on the list.
Mike's going to get at me on that about him not being on the list for forms. I knew I forgot someone.
Josh Harwich.
Okay.
Josh Harwich. Honorable
Great kicker.
Absolutely. Robbie Lavoie. Great kicker. Not just a spin hook kicker.
No.
He is not.
He is a very underrated kicker because people just he's short, so people don't.
They just think of him as someone who's fast, moves, and blitzes.
And has the dive blitz,
extremely flexible.
Yeah.
Extremely. Mafia Holloway.
Oh God, dude. On the honorable mention.
This list is deep.
Well, yeah, I get it.
This list is deep. Now, here are some of today's best kickers that are not on the list.
Okay, all right.
Should I do that last?
No. Put that on there. Let's go ahead. Because they're honorable mentions as well.
Best kickers. Yeah, because they're basically honorable mentions. All right? But I think the best talent kicker today, the absolute best talent kicker right now is Zach Winder. Zach Winder, and this dude can do it all. He gets in his own way sometimes. He and I talk a lot. I really, really like Zach. Right? Just as a dude and as a talent, I like Zach a lot. He might be the best talented kicker right now. Matthew Williams.
Okay. Yep. Great
kicker.
Yeah.
Ryan George.
Yeah.
Yes. Drew Beatty.
Yep.
Yes. I love the range when she is able to, how far she can slide an axe kick.
I've done a lot of private lessons, several private lessons with her, teaching her with forms in her kicking and stuff, and years ago as a kid. So
Morgan Plowden.
Yeah.
Hers is more effective.
Yeah, effective kicking.
Yeah. Enrique Latona.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are all people that, and who knows, at one point could end up on this list. But most of the people on this list have been champions or have beaten champions, but you did not have to be a champion. I did not weigh that in.
Yeah.
You didn't have to beat everybody. But if you went head to head with a kicker and you beat them or you outkicked them, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you as a kicker.
Okay.
Because if we're just looking at the fighters, we don't need to make a list. We can just look at it like, oh, well, they won, so they're better.
So it doesn't
list
matter.
over. Right? We're making this off just the kicking. Starting at number 20.
All right.
Elias Lemon. And Elias Lemon
all right.
is really good. And Elias does not get a lot of credit for what he's able to do with his kicks. Elias is long and is tall. When he fights, he scrunches his body up at times and gives safe pressure. So you always think you're just out of range. And he always has an extra reach to that. So you tend to find yourself getting kicked on the third or fourth kick because he never extended the other ones all the way. So Elias is really good. He had a long, he had probably an 11-year active, competitive,
that's true.
reign.
Yeah. Got it.
Number 19, Tom Roberts.
Yes.
Tom Roberts, is probably one of the best fighters that ever come out of Canada. Tom has a very unique style. Only one other person on the list got a style similar to Tom's. Tom will do stuff that when you teach in your school, you would say, don't ever
do that. Yeah.
He fights flat-footed, leaning back, hands down.
Yeah.
And wins.
Yeah.
And that's what drives me nuts.
And can still do it. Like we saw him at WKC, almost pull out.
Tom's one of the only people that when I went head-to-head kicking, that I just had to look at and go, I can't kick with you.
Yeah.
I can't. I have to change how I'm doing this.
Right.
And part of it is because he fights with his left side. There's not most great kickers, great ones, are from their right side because most people are right-handed, so they just choose to go with their right side. Right? Number 18, Claire Kokoza.
Yes.
Claire Kokoza, I remember when I would watch her fight, I remember thinking this is Dickie Carlson Lee just in younger form, right?
Yeah.
She's just absolutely dominant with that. The women didn't have an answer for what she was doing. All right.
Yeah.
That reminds me, there's someone else I forgot on the honorable mention. So sorry I forgot this. Another honorable mention for today's top kickers that will somehow find their way on there maybe would be Elise Gorel. Right? And that was what I was going to mention. Elise Gorel could find herself maybe doing something like what Claire's doing. She needs to be more active.
Oh, way more active. She's trying to finish up school. She's still training. I was
Good with
there
that.
last year at Trevor School and teaching seminar there, and yeah,
Lisa's good.
she's awesome. Yep. All right.
Moving on. Number 17, Ryan McGriff.
Okay.
This is an adjustment from where he was on my
A
previous
huge
list.
adjustment. Thank you for that huge adjustment.
Huge adjustment. But now, I talked with a bunch of people, and
Some wouldn't even put him in the top 20, right?
some said I shouldn't move him.
Right.
So here's what was hard for fighting Ryan is he's 5'10" and maybe 130 pounds. Right?
Right.
He might have been taller than 5'10". So when checking his leg, his leg was harder to check. So like I was, for the most part, I was in between with the weights that I fought. I always fought between a middleweight and a light heavyweight. That's like the easiest leg to check.
Yeah.
Because it's not quite a heavyweight where it's going to overpower you, and it's not a lightweight. Ryan was a super lightweight.
Yeah.
So when you would touch it, his leg's so skinny that whatever you would touch would slip through your fingers and would end up kicking you in the face. So, and he had the style a lot like Tom. But what he would do is he would round kick in a circular motion.
Yeah.
So when you tried to get in front of that, he would just circle right over it.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 16, Ibi Abdallah.
Thank you for at least adding him on there. Good God, man.
Didn't get out.
Jeez. He's like one of my favorite kickers of all time.
Let me ask you this. What side does Ibi fight with? I don't know either.
Yeah. He can do everything.
And that's what's really great about the way Ibi fights. There was an oversight on my first list, but Ibi competes the way you try to train. And you say, no, I'm got to train on both sides. So Ibi would do that.
Yeah.
You're like, I tried my jump spin hook kicks today. Ibi will just do that in a tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went for a week and trained with Ibi, and we're working all kinds of stuff. And of course, like, you go to someone thinking you're going to train one thing because what they're good at, and we train completely different stuff. And he has me trying, like, say, hey, this will be fun. You know what? I know you're tired, but here, let's do the Billy Blanks aerial kick. Let's work on that. Let's work on this today. Oh, here, you can hit someone with a side swipe. So I was doing side swipes for an hour with Ibi Abdallah. So yeah, man, he has fun. I mean, but he has the worst floor ever to train on. He has that real old school carpet that will kill your feet. Yeah. Yeah,
I trained on that for probably 12 years.
Blister City, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Number 15, Anthony Price.
Oh, God. Still that low. Oh.
Anthony Price could do it all. And it was extremely intimidating. Yeah. Right? And because he's not fighting anymore, he's retired, just watch videos of Anthony Price. You'll be intimidated just watching the video. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he fought like that. Yeah. And here's what's great. We have a brotherhood of people that we're with. Chris and Travis talked about this in the CTE, that we really could, just through our connections of martial artists, we could just end up knowing almost anybody in any town, right? Exactly. Definitely in any country. But what Anthony, and so we become friends. And so you create connections, you become friends, but watching Anthony really puts it into check. Like, we are here for a purpose. The purpose is to win. So while we are competing, I will dominate you. Right. And he did. Yeah. He did. And here's what I really liked about the way he would fight is his spin hook kicks were deceptively fast for how long it was. Yeah. Those legs are incredibly long. How did he get around that fast?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Speaking of spin kicks and the ones that get around that fast, I have a tie at 14. What? Just, you're going to understand. Okay. And I didn't know how to split this up.
So I know it is. Go.
Donald Brady and Ronald
Brady. All right. Yeah, I get that. All right. Which ones?
So before my first list, I just had Donald.
Yeah.
I spent most of the time training with Donald. When I would train with, I trained with Donald more than I did with Ronald. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So Donald, D. Brady he would do just the craziest things. Now, Donald, spent most of his time as a lightweight. Ronald spent the majority of his time as a light middleweight, or maybe a middleweight. But actually tended to have more longer success, like deeper into the tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Ronald did. Yeah.
Yeah. Ronald's got a ring. Donald doesn't.
Right.
Number 13. Jerry Fast Feet Fontanez.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't have him on last time.
His nickname lives up to what he is.
Yeah.
It really is. And he could do it all. He was long. He can do it all.
And hit people with wheel kicks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
But and most people right now, unless you got a chance to see him at the tail end of his career, you wouldn't know him for that.
Yeah.
You'd know him for his rec suits.
Yeah.
Which were awesome. Which we all had 7 pairs.
That's right.
How many rec suits did you have?
Didn't have many. I only had 2, maybe.
Really?
I did not.
I think I really had
remember we were a bold look team, and we did bold look for 9 years.
So you didn't so you might be the only person I knew who just didn't go and just get one to get one.
No, but I do have oh man. So I was on a team, a local team during my college days, and their colors were black and yellow, and I have a pair of yellow rec suit pants, just plain yellow, pasty yellow. It was.
You are not a fan?
Mustard yellow. I mean, come on, man. You want a pair of mustard yellow rec suit pants? No.
Oh, I've seen them around.
That
was one of the coolest things about the rec suits is the colors. It was a colorful time.
It was.
Of point fighters. You'd see guys just orange uniforms.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Number 12 is Harold Schmidt.
Okay. Yep.
Harold Schmidt.
Where'd you have him before?
I think I had him at like 9.
Okay. All right.
So Harold, he's a left side fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's from Germany.
Yes.
But he has a very awkward angle and hip rotation and extension. So he can invert his hips different ways while still kicking. The impressive part is his body doesn't change position.
That's
right?
Cool.
Where some people do that, they can lean or tip back in different areas, right? Whereas he doesn't. Here's the downside of kickers, okay? Is sometimes, and especially for people who do forms and then also point fight and they're great kickers, we think really in black and white. We think, I will do this kick perfect because that's how I do it when I do my form. I will kick perfect. My body will be completely upright, which actually at times can be a detriment to you.
Yeah.
It actually should be better if you just tip back and lean back, right? Which was
correct
because I already mentioned him on the list. Elias would do that with me, and he was so long, I'm like, I can't get to you. I got past your leg, and I still can't get to you because you're all the way back there.
Right. All right.
So, but Harold, he didn't really do that. He pretty much just kept everything upright, and his chambers would really be awkward. And if you were kicking with him, for the most part, he could probably outkick you.
Yeah. All right.
That was number 12. Number 11.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Myself.
Got it. Yeah, I agree.
Alex Dingman. I'm on the list. Okay. Like you, a little bit of emotions. I don't have as many hesitations on saying as me. I'm a good kicker, right? I have always kind of put my hat on I will be a better kicker than almost anybody I fight. If I'm fighting you, I will outkick you. No, that was not always the case, right? Like I said, I've been outkicked before, right?
And I guess for me, the difference is that I've never felt that way, that I've, in forms at least, I've ever been outkicked. So that's probably the reason why I feel a little bit, and so it's
So
different.
you really
with
want to
fighting
put
the form.
yourself number 1. Yeah, I'm not
All
putting
right,
myself.
all right,
I'm putting myself number 11. It's a little different than 1. No, and then the biggest. So, but here's the thing: the biggest difference that made it easier for me was that I did extreme forms and creative forms as well.
Yeah,
and everybody else on the list did not,
except for one person.
Correct.
Yeah.
Number 10, Preston Clements.
Yep.
This is also an adjustment. It's really not an adjustment as much as just a flip-flop between he and I.
Yeah.
Here's why it's a flip-flop. When Preston and I fought each other one time, I outkicked Preston.
Okay.
And Preston edged it out, beat me 4-3, but did not ever kick me. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I had to be honest with myself and say, because I looked at it like, God, I outkicked you, I beat you, I'm a better kicker than you.
I'm better. Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
But I had to be honest and say, okay, but look at what he did to everybody else that I could not kick. That he was able to do that to them. Like, he literally gave Ray fits at times.
Yeah.
I never gave Ray fits. Right? So I just had to look at that and go, okay, he was better. I didn't win a NASCAR overall kicking. He's done that a few times.
Exactly. And that's where I same thing with my list, like Kingston has won those things, So
that was harder for me. It's because like in head-to-head matchup, like, no, I did win that one. All right. Even though I didn't win the match. Right. So it maybe sounds like a little pointless, like, oh, I won, I beat you, but I lose, but no, that's what this whole thing is about, is who's the better kicker. That's what this list is all about. But I had to be honest, check that. Preston is in the top 10. Number 9, Zolt Murati.
Okay.
Zolt Murati is lower on this than he was previously on the other list, because as great as Zolt Murati is, and he is, he has one kick.
Mm-hmm.
He has one kick. He has a side kick. All right. And his chamber is really, really high. All right.
Yeah.
Zolt can be effective moving forward. Zolt has, some people only have one distance that they slide. So what's, as soon as they slide and kick at you, you know how far away you have to be.
Right.
And you're like, oh, even if they score right away, they've already given you the blueprint. Stay that far away. Zolt will do it at a short range or a long range. Zolt can be effective. He can go forward and then be effective standing still. Right? So while Preston had a faster off the line kick, it will eventually drop. Zolt can do that, and he can keep his up.
That's true.
And he may not come off the line like that.
Yeah.
But when he's kicking, it won't go down.
Right.
Number 8 on the list, Nikki Carlson Lee.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is right about where she was on the last list.
Mm-hmm.
So Nikki is the greatest female kicker of all time, and maybe the greatest female fighter of all time.
Yep.
Right now, I think she's the greatest female fighter of all time.
I still put her at that. Yep.
But it was at a time where it was not even close. Like, you just watch her, and I thought this. Tell me if you thought this. Mm-hmm. I would watch Nikki fight and go, she would just dominate the men. She would kick the men. Yeah. And I started thinking, like, if she fought with the men, could she win? Could she win the ring? And I'm like, no.
She has.
So, right.
Because when she was growing up, there was no separation.
There was no split. That's still so strange. I still can't believe that they did that.
Yeah.
Because I fought in tournaments where people did that, and they're like, oh, you got to go fight this woman. And she doesn't have a headgear on. And
the problem is,
we're going to boo you.
Some people, some of the guys from that generation still don't like her because of that, because they got their butt whooped. So, anyways.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
She axe kicks you in the face. It's not like, all right, she didn't do anything cheap. She just won. What are you going to do?
Right.
I don't understand that. Number 7. Justin Ortiz.
All right, yes, he needs to be on that list.
Well, he's there. So
Yeah.
Justin Ortiz, number 7. I contemplated bringing him higher. And he's
I think
definitely
he deserves being there.
he's definitely more accomplished than a couple of people, at least one ahead of him. But Justin, I call him the American ambassador, right? So he of sport karate, he is great, all right?
Yeah,
He can do every kick. I will watch. He did this one time, and I couldn't believe I saw it. He did like someone would do a 360 round kick. He did a 360 axe kick.
Yeah.
And landed it on top of someone's
top
head.
Of someone.
Not like oh, it kind of slipped over the shoulder and hit. No, on top of the head. And
I like I told you last week, he is one of the best martial artists I've met. So
we did talk about him last week.
Yeah.
Yes. So Justin Ortiz, number 7. Number 6, Justice Lawrence.
Okay. All right, you want to keep him up there, yeah.
He's there. Justice is staying
there. He has
there.
some of the best kicks I've ever seen. So what's funny is that so back in the day, like 97, 98, at Supergans, there was no spread, and it was 2 minutes, and that was it, right? So one of the best axe kickers I ever went against was a guy named Rourke Hudson back in the day, and there's a video of Justice beating him like 19-2 or something crazy like that. So you're talking about two kickers just going at each other, and Justice just destroying him. And I think Jack Felton and his dad, Jack was like maybe 8 or 9 at that time, filming it, and him and his dad just going back and forth. And Jack looked up to Justice for a long time, man. And
well, they were on Victory together at one point.
Yeah. So
we should do that. Big Jack, if you're listening to this, send us that videotape somehow, because that would be awesome.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So yeah, Justice. I'll tell you. So the first time I met, I'd never seen Justice. I think I had heard of him, but I'm like, whatever. We were at Bluegrass in 05. And we're watching team fights. NK's got to fight Paul Mitchell, so I'm focused on that. But Victory is fighting straight up, and the Raymond Daniels straight up days. So Chris Walker was fighting Justice. So I'm watching this matchup because I'm like, he looks like he might be a middleweight. I might have to, handle this guy tomorrow. I don't know. And they're fighting, and Chris might have won that fight. I can't remember, but I just remember the jump spin kicks and the axe kicks from him. And I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah.
So the next day, Elias Lemon's got to fight him. So Elias and they're friends. So I go, hey man, don't worry about that. Don't worry about his axe kicks, his jump spin kicks. This guy fights with his left side. That's not going to be effective when he fights you because you're on your right. They bow in. Justice immediately puts his right side in front. Axe kicks Elias in the face. The very next clash, jump spin kicks him. And Elias turns to me. I just throw my hands up like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
My bad. That was horrible coaching advice.
Yeah. Dude, he's a great kicker. What's funny is that I feel like when people saw him on NASCA, it was almost 5 years too late. So
correct.
Like, he was at his prime in NBL from like 96 to like 2000, 2001 maybe. And he took a little break, then he came back, and it was crazy, man. I love watching old videos of him from those days. So anyways, go ahead.
Number 5, Alex Fast Lane.
Wow. Okay.
Alex Lane was a dominant kicker. He really, really was. Okay. And
I like Alex. I'm not by my reaction. Sorry, I don't want to make it
Alex
sound.
didn't know. I'll tell you right now. Alex is great, and Alex had a reign. I think the CTE talked about it a couple months ago. Like,
well, yeah,
like he was good. Why do you think he gets overlooked? And part of it, I think,
you were on the show when we talked about that.
I can't remember that, but Alex. Yeah. So most fighters had their peaks, and then they would kind of step away. And then when they would come back, you'd be like, oh, they're not the same.
Yeah.
We watched Alex not be the same. So, and that's why we forget how great he was.
Right. Like,
so when you watch, Alex was dominant. Like he was the guy. He was the man. And then, All right, he just went down just a little bit as someone else was coming up. And then went down a little bit more as someone else was coming up. And then all of a sudden, Alex is not the man. And there's many other men, either just as good or better.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the memory you remember of Alex Lane. But Alex Lane was really that good. And everybody tried to knock him out. Everybody tried to bust him up because he was a skinny, long, light middleweight that really wasn't even a light middleweight. He was a lightweight.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
And he would just they would try to bust him up. But Alex was good. He was a smart fighter and was a great kicker.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4.
All right.
Pedro Xavier.
Okay. Number 4. That's better than before. Thank you.
So, you know what? Okay. Pedro Xavier.
Pedro's just, God, it's just Pedro, man. It's
Pedro
just,
Xavier. So I was reminded. So I talked a while back. I talked to Donald Brady and Ronald Brady about this, and they're like, "You don't even know." So I'm like, okay. Let me just focus in on this. And they're like, dude, the training with him was insane. And I'm like, that's why I got him so high. And they're like, even as high as you got him, he's not even close to where he needs to be.
Right.
So part of it, I have to look at this and go, all right, if Pedro fought this guy, would they win? Right? If someone fought this guy, would they win? You know, some of the people on here we can know, all right, because we watched them fight each other. You know, so even though, let me look at the list here. All right, if Pedro fought Harold Schmidt, would he win? Yes, he would outkick. He would outkick Harold.
Yeah.
All right, would he outkick Preston? I don't. But he would find a way to do it. Right?
I'm trying to think. No, I guess they didn't fight because,
Oh, it's too. Yeah, by the time he was on.
No, 98, they did probably fight once or a few times that year because 98 was when Preston moved up first.
And then 98.
That was Preston's
last year.
Pedro's last year. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, he is Mr. X Kick. I mean, he's got the greatest one. One of the things I remember about Pedro is I watched him before I really knew who he was. So I would just watch the eliminations and I would watch him hold his foot up and move without dropping it. Right? He would just hold it up and move. And I'm like, how is this possible? Right? It just looks like someone was on a hoverboard moving with their foot in the air. And then, and he would come down with power.
What's weird is that was a thing in the junior division in like the mid 90s. Everybody.
Well, why do you think?
Division. Yeah. Well, yeah, but like Ebony Adams would do it all the time and several people like that. It was crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That might be an honorable mention. I'm not sure though.
Should be an honorable mention. All right,
Number 3, Trevor Nash.
Okay.
Trevor Nash, this dude, he's an actual beast. Right?
Yes.
So we talked about guys who were just intimidating. Like we talked about Anthony Price, so he's intimidating. Trevor Nash is that. He has a knee high chamber with the heel pointed at you, with the knee higher than the heel.
Yeah,
people call it a lot of different names that people want to call it. You want to call it, I've heard like a 0 point chamber or whatever.
Right.
Universal chamber. We're talking about the same thing.
Right.
We're talking about the knee coming straight up with a full rotation pivot from the back foot. All right. With the heel still pointed at you. Right. So that way they can go into any kick that they want. And Trevor would do it all.
But he also does it differently than others. He doesn't chamber it really tight, like it's way out there. Like
correct.
That way there's not much. That way he only has half the extension that everyone else does to get it out to you, right?
The other thing that he would do is, since he has it out and extended a little bit, he would have it so high, he would place his forearm on his quad.
Of course, yeah.
So now he's created a wall so that even if you try to jam, he's got it there. Right, you're right. Yeah. You're supposed to do that. But man, this game is hard.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I know.
So when he would do that, even if someone would try to jam, don't hit this. Don't get yourself hurt. No. Right? I've seen people do this and they try to bust him up. I watched this one time. Someone tried hitting him and say, no, it wasn't even the person he was fighting. It was someone else heckling him. Like, go get that old man. He's bad out of shape. What do you think he did, Jeff? What do you think he did?
I've seen.
He knocked him out. He knocked the guy out. He knocked the guy out he was fighting to get to the guy who was heckling him.
Exactly.
And I looked at that and like, my goodness.
Good old Trevor.
Number 2 on the list, Roman Brundle.
Yes. All right. Cool. Awesome.
Roman Brundle.
Great. Amazing kicker, and you know what, has earned it all, man. He's awesome.
I'm going to tell you this. It's, if number 1 wasn't such a bullet, it'd be hard not to put him. So, Roman Brundle's, I promise you, Roman Brundle's kicking warm-ups will be harder than most anybody's kicking workout. His warm-up. Here's a little plug for something that has nothing to do with me. Everybody, you listen to this? Go to the TCK Winter Camp. Go to the TCK Winter Camp if there's any spots available. Go to the TCK Winter Camp and see if I'm lying. Go there. Yep. All right? Go there. Go ahead. Do that. I challenge you. Go there. See if you can do every workout, every kicking workout that Roman has you do, and you leave without feeling like your leg actually fell off of your body. Right? I've never done some of the stuff that he and I trained. When he and I were training together, I'd never done things that much before. I just thought it was just obnoxious. Like I'd never seen this before. His chamber is so high. And now he's like 6'4", 6'5", okay?
Yeah.
So his hips start much higher proportionately to his body. Mm-hmm. So already his hips are high. Proportionately, they're higher than that. When he chambers, his knee doesn't go out. It goes straight up. Mm-hmm. His knee can go straight up with his heel pointing out. So his heel will be pointing at your eyeball with his knee higher. What the heck do you do about that? Right. Because it's at such a distance, and he's so much longer than you, and he has the dexterity to be able to move it anywhere he needs. You're at his mercy. Yeah. If you don't already have a plan for that. So Roman Brundle, number 2 on the list. Number 1 on the list. Everybody say it together.
Jason Borelli. Tankston. Sorry.
Jason Borelli. Yes.
Tankston Borelli. I'll still call him Tank forever. Tank.
Yeah. So I've been outkicked by a couple people. Been outkicked by Roman in training. I've been outkicked by, as I mentioned, Tom Roberts outkicked me. Jason Borelli demolished me. So we would either have these matches that went similar to like what he and I just last had a match with at the Diamonds. We're going to overtime. Yeah. Or he would demolish me, and we had nothing in between. Nobody won by 3.
Right.
Nobody won by like 4. No, it was
overtime.
All right, here's one. Overtime, or he beat me by 12. Now, let's take myself out of it, okay? So I watched him destroy, and I believe it was a gold belt in continuous division.
Was that DC?
I think it was US Open.
Okay.
All right. And I'm just like, I can't believe what's happening here. Like, this is just amazing to me, right? I'm kicking. And the guy went to block. He went to block his sidekick. He's so strong that I didn't hear. Maybe this is just another rumor, a little wives' tale that I'm just spreading. But Maddock had to come over to him. And what the rumor I heard was Jason broke the dude's arm with a sidekick while the guy was blocking.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that happened. Yeah.
That did happen? Mm-hmm. Look at that. Oh, you're going to kick me. What's the one thing I need to do to make sure that I don't get hurt? Oh, okay, I do that, and you break my arm?
Right.
What? So, but the other part about Jason Borelli is he'll dig himself into a hole at times. And so Chris Walker fought Jason Borelli at the Diamonds in 10 years ago in 2009.
Yeah.
And really was giving it. He was giving it to Jason, right? Chris had just beaten me that day, right? I thought I really thought, man, I had you, Chris.
Right.
Chris got me. He beat me. It was legit, and he got me, okay? And he moves on, and he's fighting Jason. And he's giving it to Jason. He's beating him by a decent amount, too. I'm like, damn. And then all of a sudden, Jason just sort of goes like, doot, and pushes the cheat code mode and drops 4 axe kicks in a row. Like highlight reel ones. Like, this is not fair, right? And that's just the kind of guy he is. He can do it all. So when I said there's only one other guy on the list that does extreme form training, who's really good, this is the guy. He can do it all. And he and I had a conversation once. So fighting was easier than doing forms.
Yes.
Because in forms, we had to be perfect.
Right.
So after forms was over, we would go, all I have to do is just kick them. It doesn't matter how I kick them. My foot just lands on them. So much easier. Let me go do that. And then you feel the stress just melts off of you. And then you just go kick them. But see, I would just go kick. Jason would find a way to make it look like the video game NBA Jam karate version.
Very true. I mean, and he was like that, man. He was like a video game character in so many ways. So love that dude. Big brother of mine. So I agree on number 1. And
on everything else. You love my list.
Let's do this to finish up. Let's say one person that on either of our lists for us that maybe, like, I would say someone that I want to say should be on there, or maybe me and you, one person. And,
all right, let me think.
And we don't have to debate like the rank, any of that. But if they weren't on the list, so for me,
someone who's not on the list who should be on the list.
Right. So for me, I'll go someone, and some people may not even agree with this, but this is for me a kicker that I think's very was just awesome for me. And for me, growing up, I watched him was Sean Elliott. So Sean Elliott was a great kicker, and he gave a lot of people a lot of hard times in the 90s and moving up. And so Sean Elliott, if people don't know, is Gina Thornton's coach.
Yep.
And
great guy.
Amazing guy and a great kicker. And growing up to me, that was what I saw. The only other person in our area that could probably kick even near as good as him was Ibby. And I've seen them battle, and Sean do pretty well against that. So, and Sean's beaten a lot of top competitors in that day as well. So, maybe a 20 or something, but yeah.
Okay. If there's someone on the list of your list that's not on there that I would think would be on there, geez, I don't know. There's 2 that popped in my head. Both juniors, ironically.
Okay.
Ida Henley
for kicking,
or Guy Burkett.
All right. Guy was the only one that.
Guy Burkett.
I know Ida very well. She's not a kicker. So, anyways, love Ida to death. But Guy, that was kind of with me back and forth. Guy was a combo of a kicker / gymnast / tricker, and
he was an athlete.
He was an athlete. He still is to this day. He moved out to LA and is working with Mike now. So excited for him to really get into the industry and do what he loves and get back into it. Yes, great kicker. The hip thing, I think, was probably it for me. But man,
see, when you said like
some of the best
musical
axe
forms,
kicks, some of the best
I liked his
kicks
musical
ever.
forms.
Oh, I did too. Here's the deal. In 95, the only person that could beat Jimmy or Kingston was Guy, and Guy was like 10 or 11. So he was a year younger than me. He was the first. All right, so I get a lot of credit for the leg and swing thing. Chloe gets a lot of credit for that. But the first person I ever saw do it, not in a tournament or anything, but warming up, was Guy. Guy would do that and then do it and warming up, and then I started doing. We were both just kind of, and but I think I was the first one to do it in a form. But he.
So are you saying that you should have had Guy Burkett on your list?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Stick to your guns, Jeff.
But I could put anybody on my list. I mean, I can change it whichever. Like I said, I changed it before I even got up here. Like, I have all kinds of stuff, man. Like, it's just, dude, there's so many. And then there's someone like Jerry Prince. I know I could probably go back and put him on my list because he was an amazing forms kicker as well as fighting kicker. So
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So all
right, man. That was a crazy episode. We didn't need to do anything else.
No other topics.
Because
no other
we just highlighted like 50 or 60 competitors. And
correct.
And
so
guess
you
what?
guys are the competitors of the week.
Yes. I hope you guys, like, people go out, YouTube them, find them, or maybe ask your instructor, like, that competed with those people. Ask them about them. Ask them, what was cool about them. Like, and I think that's something that we all need to do more of is share with our students the people that we looked up to and stuff. I know I don't do that enough, and I don't share that kind of thing enough because it's just so much sometimes.
So how about this one, though? So let's not let people get caught in their emotions as well. And your emotions are just that, yours.
Oh,
you get to
true.
have them just for you. So the problem with is when I put out my first list, unsolicited for no reason. Everybody kept saying, well, this person's a really good kicker. Well, you can't forget this person. They were really good. You can't forget that. And I think at one point Murphy said, and there goes your top 300 kickers.
Yeah, exactly.
So was really fun, Murph. So,
that's true.
But it was accurate. So listen, just because someone was good doesn't mean they were great. And it doesn't mean they were better than anybody else mentioned. Now, if you want to say, hey, this person was really good too. I remember when they did this. I'm a clap.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Exactly. It could happen. There's so many different things on that. Yeah. Agreed.
Yep. Yeah.
No, I totally get it. And that's the way with me. And, I mean, hey, debate it. I don't care. We'll release them next week sometime or whatever, or over the weekend. And
we will make our list public. Well, if you're hearing this, we're going to make it public in a day. So.
And we can't go back and change it.
No, this is it now. Now let's talk about next week. Next week, I am big time jacked. The legend, John Chung, is going to be on the show. I have so many things to ask him. I have so many things to talk to him about.
I'm glad you do. I'm glad.
Yes.
It's going to be fun, man. I'm excited to get this going and talk about just all kinds of different things. He's a very influential person in our sport and in our art, and he's been in this for 50 years, so pretty cool, man.
And we're gonna get here's one thing we're gonna touch on is we're gonna touch on the Japanese versus Korean forms.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna do that. We that was a hot topic at one point. We're gonna get into that again.
Awesome, sounds great, man. All right,
this has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Thank you, guys. See you next week.